Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video in the World of Juice channel, and today I've got something super special for you. We are going to be taking a look at some of sports, and more specifically the NFL, some of their more controversial moments in recent history, and we're going to be saying, what if it went differently? And so these always get me to go down a certain wormhole. Like any type of what if, whether it's in baseball or basketball. What if Derrick Rose doesn't tear his ACL? All kinds of what it's in the NBA and in the NFL and in MLB and all kinds of, in any sport really. There's tons of what ifs. So I always find them interesting because you can go down these crazy wormholes, because this one moment could be connected to this one moment, which leads to this and this and this. And there's so many different things connected to this one moment, and so many different players' lives could be changed with one thing different. If one thing differently goes down than what originally happened, how does that ripple effect change the course of history? And I always find that fascinating to think about. And it always just like is such a fun thing to think about. So if you're ever bored, if you're sitting in class and it's a boring class, if it's math class, whatever it is, if you're in study hall and you're watching this video, and just go down a wormhole. Just think of a what if scenario in your head. It doesn't have to be NFL, but just think of a what if scenario and think of all the possible changes that could happen if one thing was changed in the original thing. And the first one of this kind of mini series what if thing that we're going to be doing, think of Marvel's what if. This is the Juice what if. So the first one I feel like is probably at the top of everybody's list of what if this went differently. It is going to be back in 2014 when Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks were in the Super Bowl for the second straight year. Back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. They beat the Broncos the previous year. They go to the Super Bowl. The next year, they play the Patriots and Tom Brady, my favorite team. And at the very end of the game, from the goal line, everybody in that building, I think it was in Arizona, everybody in that building knew, give the ball to Marshawn Lynch and you've won 2 straight Super Bowls. Literally, that was everybody's thought process. I don't think there was a single person that expected anything different to happen, but Pete Carroll, he had a different plan. And I don't know, there's been back and forth kind of stories about, did Russell Wilson change it at the line? Did Pete Carroll always have this plan? And then there's a bunch of schools of thought of who was the real culprit of this play. But it goes down, the ball is snapped, it's a quick throw, it's intercepted by Malcolm Butler. I may play the clip or at least show a picture of the interception. You guys already know what happened in that Super Bowl. When I was watching it live, I freaked out. I was up and down. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. It was energy on a totally different level, because it was kind of like, think of Tom Brady's reaction from that game, from that moment, and ramp that up to like 11. That was my reaction. I couldn't believe it. I was running across the house. I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So that was in my younger days. So that moment, what if Marshawn Lynch gets the ball? What if they run the football? They presumably score, or at least they get so close that they just give it again and he gets in. At some point, they're going to score this touchdown if they give it to Marshawn Lynch. And at this point, this is the Marshawn Lynch. This is beast mode Marshawn Lynch. This is the best running back in the league, Marshawn Lynch. He's going to score this touchdown. And of course, they don't give him the football. They pass it. Butler intercepts it, game over, Patriots win the Super Bowl. And then you get the iconic picture of Richard Sherman with the shocked, confused, upset, disappointed face on the sidelines. Classic. Yeah, that is the moment we're going to be taking a look at in this episode of What If. What if the Seahawks ran the football in the Super Bowl? We're going to be going back in time to 2013. This is the year that the Seahawks do win the Super Bowl. And the reason we're doing this is because I could not find a 2014 roster that was good. So the 2013 roster that I found was good. It had a lot of good players. It had basically almost exactly the accurate rosters from the 2013 era, or 2013 season. So we're going back a year earlier than what the What If is supposed to be about. But it's basically the same era. This is the same team that the Seahawks had in 2014 is what they had in 2013. They added maybe a couple rookies and maybe a free agent signing or two, but this is basically the same team. The core pieces are here. Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, Cam Chancellor, Errol Thomas, Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman, all the key players, Tyler Lockett. I think even Baldwin is here, Doug Baldwin. And I think I can't remember anybody else. We'll take a look at the roster in a second. But it's hard because, okay, so basically I used to do a series similar to this where I called it Retro Rebuilds, and that was on the PC, where I could be able to, people had got player portraits, and they've gotten like the real rosters almost to a T on PC downloads, and you could import them into the thing, and you could do all that kind of stuff, modding and all that kind of stuff. But this is on the PS5 because, as far as I know, you can't mod Madden 23. At least I'm in the same Discord that I've been in for the past 3 or 4 years with the Madden modders community, and as far as I've seen, nobody has been able to mod 23 like they were able to mod 21, 20, 22, all those old Maddens. So I wasn't able to do it as accurately as I would want to, especially with the draft classes. The draft class is where it really matters. But I wasn't able to do it there, so I had to try to... This is basically like a scuffed version of the Retro Rebuilds. But this isn't going to be a series in terms of we're not going to go more than one episode per What If. This is going to be 5 seasons. How much can we change the landscape of the NFL with the Seahawks running the football? What if they win both those Super Bowls? What happens to the Seahawks? What happens to all those players' legacies? What happens to all the players? What happens to the draft classes where the positions could change? What happens, all that? So that's the What If we're going to be taking a look at today. As always, if you want to leave a comment down below with a suggestion for another What If scenario in the modern era, I guess we could go back to like the early 2000s or maybe even the late 90s, but at that point we're getting really, really specific, and I don't think there's a lot of rosters or even draft classes that would be good enough to use for those situations. So you've got to think, this isn't a modding situation where we can just add whatever we want. We have to go within the lines of what the creators have made on the Madden share for, this is for the PS5. So we kind of work in that realm of what we can do. So if you have any suggestions for What If, future What If episodes that fit those parameters and fit those lines, feel free to leave them down below in the comments, and they may just well go into a What If episode. But this is Season 1 of What Ifs in Madden. What if the Seattle Seahawks ran the football in the Super Bowl? I hope you guys do go and enjoy. Leave it a like if you do. Subscribe to the channel. Join the Juice Club. And let's try and see what happens to the Seahawks. So as mentioned, we are in the 2013 season, or at least we can call this the 2014 roster, or the 2014 season, but it's just the 2013 roster, and the 2013 roster is around the team, or around the league. But this is what we're working with. Percy Harvin is here. I don't know if Percy Harvin was playing in that game. I think he might have had concussion symptoms, and I don't think he was in that game, but I don't remember. It's 2014. I do not remember what happened in that game except for the big stuff. But for the most part, this is the best roster that I could find. So I hope you guys don't like critique it too much, like, oh, this guy wasn't on this team. Oh, he was Juice. He was somewhere else. Why do you have him on this team? This is the closest I could get to an accurate roster. I mean, we're going back to 10 years or more. So We're going back 9 or 10 years with this roster. That's a long time, and that's hard for people to make it super accurate. So this is as close as we're going to get. But we've got the main pieces, like I mentioned. We've got Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, Baldwin, Golden Tate, Percy Harvin, Jermaine Kearse, Ricardo Lockett is on this team. On defense, we've got Bobby Wright. We've got Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Bruce Irvin, Malcolm Smith, who I think won the Super Bowl MVP in 2013. I'm pretty sure. Cam Chancellor, Baron Browner, who is in prison, I'm pretty sure. Michael Bennett, Brendan Mebane, Clemens, Cliff Abril, Sherman, Byron Maxwell, Earl Thomas. I mean, this is the team that you would recognize. This is the Seahawks team that you would recognize from this era. We can go around the league really quickly and kind of just get a feel for this league during this era of the NFL. So the Steelers, Palomalu is still around, and bear in mind the ages of players, the experience of players is not going to be totally accurate with these created guys. Most of the time, the creators of these rosters, they don't really go that in depth, and they're not that meticulous with the accuracy like that. So that shouldn't matter too much since we're only going 5 years. It doesn't really matter. Nobody's significant is going to retire or anything. So this is what we're working with. Antonio Brown, Lawrence Timmons, Lamar Woodley, Big Ben is back, Le'Veon Bell. This is a good era for the Steelers. You've got the triple Bs. You've got everything. The Texans, J.J. Watt, Arian Foster. This was a good Texans team. They competed with the Patriots, I'm pretty sure, in a couple of divisional round games during this era. And I don't think they ever beat them, but they were pretty tough teams. And then when they get to Deshaun Watson, they become a little bit more competitive too. But Matt Schaub is their quarterback. The Titans have Chris Johnson. They've got Jason McCourty, Jarrell Casey, Kenny Britt. Their quarterback is Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Jake Locker's down there too. The Vikings, Adrian Peterson. The end of Jared Allen's career. John Sullivan, Harrison Smith. It's a good Vikings team. It's nothing special. Matt Castle's the quarterback with Christian Ponder there. You've got Julius Peppers, Brandon Marshall, Tim Jennings, Matt Forte on the Bears, Smoking Jay Cutler. That's a good Bears team. They were making the playoffs during this era. Then you've got the Bengals with Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. You've got AJ Green, Geno Atkins, Andrew Whitworth, Vontaze Burfict, who is widely credited with ruining Antonio Brown's career, both on the field and off the field. James Harrison, Reggie Nelson, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, former Patriot. Good team from the Bengals there. Jerry Spurd on the Bills. This is a bad era for the Bills. Not in terms of they didn't have any good players. They had a lot of good players. They just sucked. they sucked for the most part because they had EJ Manuel at quarterback. The Broncos, who made the Super Bowl in 2013, got blown out, but they did make the Super Bowl. Von Miller, Peyton Manning, who I think wins the MVP in 2013. Is that the year that he breaks the record? The passing touchdowns in a season record with 55? I think it's 55. I think that's the year. Champ Bailey at the end of his career. Ryan Clady, Demaryius Thomas, rest in peace. Wes Welker, or as former Boston mayor who is now dead, Tom Menino, Wes Weckler, is how he used to pronounce it. Julius Thomas, Louis Vasquez, Chris Harris Jr., Eric Decker, has a very attractive wife. Joe Thomas on the Browns. This is a bad era for the Browns. Most of the 2000s to now basically is a bad era for the Browns, I guess you could say, with the one exception being the rookie year for Baker Mayfield, I think that's the rookie year for Baker Mayfield, where they win a playoff game. Is that Baker's rookie year, or is that a couple years later? I don't remember. I know they win a playoff game against the Steelers, I think, a couple years ago. But most of the time, it's been bad news for the Browns. The Bucks have Darrelle Revis. This is the year before. See, this is 2013. You know this is the 2013 roster because in 2014, the year that we're supposed to be doing, Darrelle Revis is on the Patriots, and he wins the Super Bowl for with the Patriots. So this is the year before, but we're going to technically count it as 2014. It is what it is. Vincent Jackson, Gerald McCoy, Doug Martin, the Muscle Hamster, David Joseph, Levante David, Donald Penn. Similar Bucks team to what you would remember. Cardinals, Larry Fitzgerald, Calais Campbell, Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson, Carson Palmer's around. Eric Weddle on the Chargers with Antonio Gates, Phillip Rivers. Yeah, Phillip Rivers. Ryan Matthews, Keenan Allen. Good stuff, good stuff. The Chiefs got Jamal Charles. It's a very different looking Chiefs team than what you would expect. Alex Smith is the quarterback. They shouldn't have Tyreek Hill, and they don't. He's not here yet. Travis Kelce's here because he's old. Justin Houston, Tamba Ali, Eric Berry. Good team. This was the start of the Chiefs really becoming the Chiefs that we know now. Alex Smith really got them started. But they took off, obviously, when Patrick Mahomes got here. The Colts have Andrew Luck, Robert Mathis, Reggie Wayne, Vinatieri, I always do that. T.Y. Hilton, Pat McAfee, Vontae Davis, Kobe Fleener, who they also took along with Dwayne Allen. I think they took in that same draft, didn't they? No. That's different. Whatever. Doesn't matter. The Commanders, or at the time, they were a different name, but Washington has Trent Williams, Fletcher, Pierre Garçon, Brian Arakpo, Alfred Morris. You guys remember Alfred Morris? He was like good for a season and a half and then just didn't do anything else. Santana Moss, Ryan Kerrigan, D'Angelo Hall. Who was their quarterback? It was RG3, that's right. RG3 and Kirk Cousins in the same draft. I forgot about that. RG3 like number 2 overall, and then Kirk Cousins in the 4th round. The Cowboys. Everybody loves a good Cowboys team. Jason Witten, DeMarcus Ware, Tyron Smith, Des Bryant, DeMarco Murray, Sean Lee, Travis Frederick, Tony Romo, all the normal guys you would expect. Dolphins, Cameron Wake, Brent Grimes, Rashad Jones, the normal people. LaShawn McCoy, Jason Peters, Evan Mathis on the Eagles, Deshaun Jackson, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know why there's injuries. I'm pretty sure I turned injuries off, but whatever. Eagles team that you know. Michael Vick is here as well. Falcons have Tony Gonzalez. This is the good Falcons. This is when they were starting to ramp up to become the Falcons that would eventually lose 28-3 in the Super Bowl. This is the beginning of that era. You got Tony Gonzalez, Julio Jones, Roddy White, Matt Bryant, Desmond Trufant, Antonio, Asante Samuel, Matt Ryan. Good team, good team. 49ers have Patrick Willis, Joe Staley, Frank Gore, Alden Smith, who I'm pretty sure got caught with like a bomb in an airport. I think. Maybe that was a different person. I don't remember. He had some weird off-the-field stuff going on. The Giants have JPP, Victor Cruz, Justin Tuck, Eli Manning. Jaguars, MJD, which it looks like his model or his picture looks like he was taken with like a hat on or something, and they like cropped it out so that it's dark. I don't know. It looks funny. There's like a shadow above him. Paul Postlesny, one of my favorite players of all time. Mercedes Lewis, Jason Babin. Bad Jaguars team. Very bad. very, very bad. Jets, speaking of bad teams, Jets, Nick Mangold, Antonio Cromartie, David Harris, DeBrickashaw, Ferguson, Calvin Pace. Who was their quarterback at the time? Geno. That's right. This is before Geno becomes the Geno that we know now. This is when they thought he was. This Geno is what they thought the Geno of last season was going to be, but he wasn't. He was bad. Lions, Calvin Johnson, Ndamukong Suh, Reggie Bush, Matt Stafford. That was a decent Lions team. They didn't have anybody else besides those guys, but they were okay. They weren't horrible. The Packers, Clay Matthews, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Sitton, Jordy Nelson. That's a good Packers team right here. This is a good Packers team. Luke Kuechly on the Panthers, Steve Smith, Greg Hardy, Greg Olson. This is before he goes to the Ravens? I thought he was on the Ravens for a while. I would have thought he would already been on the Ravens by now, but I guess not. Huh, he's still here. Jordan Gross, Josh Norman, Cam Newton is here. He should be their quarterback. He is. Patriots, Tom Brady, Gronk, Logan Mankins, Aqib Talib, Julian Edelman. You guys know this Patriots team. Raiders, Marcel Reese, Janikowski, Woodson, McFadden. Their quarterback is actually Terrell Pryor, which is not good. And I'm an Ohio State fan. Terrell Pryor was amazing at Ohio State. It says he's a rookie, but he's not really a rookie. He's like a 3-year pro at this point. The Rams, also a very bad team. James Laurinaitis, Johnny Hecker, Robert Quinn. Quarterback was Sam Bradford. Yikes. The Ravens, Terrell Suggs, Haloti Ngata, Marshall Yanda, Ladarius Webb, Ray Rice. Yikes. Justin Tucker. Joe Flacco is here. This is after they've won the Super Bowl. Ray Lewis is retired. Saints have Drew Brees, Jimmy Graham, Jari Evans, Ben Grubbs, Marquise Colston, Cameron Jordan. It's a pretty decent Saints team. They were always in the playoff hunt. And then we're back to the Seahawks. So that's kind of a feel for around the league, what we're working with here. Now, how this is going to work is we are going to simulate to the end of the season, see how this goes. Then we'll simulate the playoffs, see if we win a Super Bowl or not. We'll go through the offseason. I've got the 2014 draft class in. It is as accurate as I could find. I think the first 4 rounds of players are accurate. But as I said in the intro, unless we're on the PC with mods, this is as accurate as it's just going to be tough to find draft classes that are super, super accurate. So this is as good as we're going to get, but there's obviously some notable names in here. Teddy Bridgewater, Greg Robinson, some all-timers, Jawan James. Obviously, you've got like Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, Zach Martin, Mike Evans, Odell, Jadeveon Clowney, #1 pick. So it's the class that you guys remember. We're not going to go too much into it. But that's what we're working with here. Hope you guys are excited for this. This is season number 1 of the 5-year simulation. Let's see if the Seahawks make the Super Bowl. We know what the team looks like. They obviously did in real life. But will Madden be as kind as the real NFL? Let's find out. I'll see you guys at the playoffs. We are here at the playoffs, and to a surprise to nobody, we made the playoffs as the winner of the NFC West. I don't know if we're the ones. I do know we're the 1 seed because we're not playing in the wild card, obviously. We are the 1 seed, 14-3, taking on whoever wins in their wild card games, the lowest seed, whoever wins. But I figured this team would be in the playoffs. Obviously, they're pretty good. We are taking on the 49ers, who are a very good team. They finished 12-5. You can't see that, but they did finish 12-5 this year. Actually, you could see it because of the thing. Are we going to win? No, we lose 14-10. That's not good. We were supposed to go to the Super Bowl because this is the year they actually do win the Super Bowl. But hey, it's a what-if scenario. What do you expect? But technically, we're starting in 2014, so this is going into the 2014. Actually, you know what? We're not starting in 2014 because we got to get those rookies in there. So we're starting in 2013, going into the 2014 offseason. It's all up in the air. It doesn't matter. The Broncos and the Packers are in the Super Bowl, so that's kind of similar to how it would have been. It should have just been us in the Super Bowl instead of the Packers. But are the Broncos going to win? Like they probably should have. They do. They beat the Packers 24-17. Congratulations to them. And we are about to start the offseason of the first simulation, first year. The season recap, Champ Bailey wins the MVP of the Super Bowl. Von Miller is the Defensive Player of the Year. We've got RG3 and Ziggy Ansah for the Rookies of the Year. Greg Jennings is the Offensive Player of the Year. Peter Gaffney wins Coach of the Year, Bill Belichick. And Drew Brees wins the MVP of the league. Okay, very interesting. Let's go to re-sign players. I don't know who we have to re-sign. We have a little bit of money, not a crazy amount, but a little bit. We got a little bit of money. And I think because this is modern day NFL with draft picks and stuff, I think we should have a decent amount of draft picks in this class. Who is retiring? I don't know if it'll matter. Adrian Peterson, that's not real life. Who else is retiring? Jimmy Graham, Cam Jordan, that's not real. None of these guys retired in this era. Tom Brady went for 9 years after this. What are we doing? I guess because it technically says he's already played for 23 years. That's why he's retiring. But remember, we're in an alternate universe now. We are in an alternate universe of what if the Broncos, or what if the Patriots, no, what if the Seahawks, I'll get it right. What if the Seahawks ran the football? So Richard Sherman needs a contract. Brandon Browner needs a contract. And that is about it. All right, I can work with that. Let's pay Sherman. He needs a lot of money because he's Richard Sherman, so I would expect he wants a lot of money. That's a good offer. I'm glad I got the deal done. So he's back. Brandon Browner I want to bring back because we need those corners. He's not interested in coming back. Very interested. We might franchise tag him if we can't bring anybody else back. Max Unger I want to bring back because he's our starting center. He's happy to come back. All right, so now Chris Clemens I probably want to bring back, although $70 million for Chris Clemens is crazy amount of money. but he's coming back anyway. So we have 29 million. Steven Hauschka, we should probably bring back just because we need a kicker. He's coming back for 3 seasons. So we have $25 million to spend on the rest of these players. Byron Maxwell, just because he's a high overall. He's coming, or he's not coming back. He's going to be either franchise tag. So what's the franchise tag cost? 21 million for him, 21 million for him. Who do we want? Brandon Browner, they're the same. Actually, they're not the same development. Maxwell has normal. Browner is 30. Maxwell is 28, but he's 85 overall. He's very cheap, but not cheap because we had to pay him 21 million. I think we tag Browner, and then we trade, or we tag Maxwell and we trade Browner. That's what we'll do. We'll trade Brandon Browner. This will also give me a chance to look at what our draft picks are looking like. So we have 2 first-round picks, 28 and 32. No surprise there. But let's trade Brandon Browner. He's not expensive, and he's going to be pretty good because people are going to value him. So let's see if we can get a corner in return for him. This is Stephon Gilmore. Let's see. Can we get somebody that we know ends up being good in real life, just not that good right now? We might be able to find somebody like that. And preferably for pretty cheap, because we don't have a ton of money now that we spent it all. We had like 80-something million, and we spent all of it, basically. Asante Samuel, but he's old. Carlos Rogers, and the Giants have nobody. D. Milliner. Does he have a development trait? He doesn't, but I kind of want to take a flyer on D. Milliner, just because he's such a bust in real life. Captain Munnerlin, James Dockery. Oh, God. The cornerbacks. I'm so glad that the corners now in modern NFL are so much better than the corners that were in this era, because there's no depth in this cornerback in any of these teams. There is not much. It's very top-heavy. I want to go back and get D. Milliner, really. That's what I'm thinking. Let's go get him and maybe a first-round pick or something. Can you give me pick 7 and D. Milliner? Almost. They can almost give me it. What do you want? You want a right end or a left guard? Do we have a left guard? We don't have a left guard. Who's your right end that you want? You want, we have Clemens that we just brought back and Cliff Averill. God, we probably didn't need to bring back Cliff Clemens, did we? Do they want Red Bryant? He's very old. They do. We get the 7th overall pick and D. Milliner. That's probably that's a lot for the 7th overall pick, and it's a lot for D. Milliner too. But now we have 3 first-round picks, so that's awesome. And we have a chance to get somebody that's pretty good. Let's go to free agency. We have about $6 million in cap space. We're not going to be able to sign anybody crazy, but we might be able to sign somebody. I don't even know who's in this free agency class. Is it going to be even accurate? It might be accurate. I don't remember what the class looked like at this point. Let's see. I mean, there's a superstar development, Calvin Pace. Actually, no, is it Ryan Kerrigan? No, it's Jermichael Finley that's superstar development. Calvin Pace at 29 is very interesting. He's got 3 teams interested in him, and we can't afford him. Okay? So we won't go with Calvin Pace. Is there anybody that we can maybe sign? Because I'd like to get somebody. Or maybe we just keep the money. You know what? Let's just keep the money. Let's just keep the money for future off seasons, because we got 4 more years to go. So let's advance to the draft, and we got to figure out what we need. We don't need quarterback. We don't need running back. We might need a receiver, so Odell's on the table. We could trade up to get him. DeAndre Hopkins. It's a very good offensive class. The defense is there. There's some studs in the defensive side of things, but for the most part, it's a very offensive class, except for the quarterback spot. It's a good thing we don't need one. I do want to take a look at the mock draft, though, see where everybody's kind of thinking, where everybody's headspace is at. What do we got moving here? We should be ready to go. Here we go. All right, so scout players. Let's take a look at what the mock draft says. So mock draft number 5 says that Zach Martin's going to go number 1 overall. Aaron Donald 2, Greg Robinson, Odell Beckham, Jimmy G, Johnny Manziel. They have us taking Jadeveon Clowney. Now we know Jadeveon went number 1 overall in real life. I want Aaron Donald. Or Zach Martin, obviously. I want one of those two. Can we trade from 30, whatever we had, 30 something, up to 1 or 2? Is that possible? It might not be. We might have to trade 7. I don't want pick 32. I just don't want it. So we're going to have to do this in stages. Can we go up from 32 to 17? So that might be a little bit too much of a jump. We have a 3rd round pick that we can take. 17 might be a little bit too much of a jump. Let's go with like maybe 21 or something. Who has pick 21? The Chargers have pick 21. This might be a little bit easier. Okay, yeah, it is a little bit easier. Nothing crazy. We'll go with a 5th round pick. It's not going to get the job done, but I can throw in a player. Do you want a player? They need offensive line, and I don't have offensive line. I don't even have a right guard. We might have to take Zach Martin. Do you want Jesse Williams? They kind of want Jesse Williams. That's good. I don't know why you would want Jesse Williams, but they kind of want him. What about if I throw in that 4th round pick? That almost gets it done. Maybe the 3rd round pick gets it done. Maybe. 21 might be a little bit still too high. We're trying to do this in tiers. So maybe like 23 from the Giants could get her done. Or maybe not. I might have to cut this until I find a good trade piece. Ooh, okay, so I'm guessing like 25 gets it done. If we find whoever has 25. There's 24. I don't know. 24 is probably still in that realm of it wouldn't go through with what we have. So who has 25? Do we have 25? Who has 25? Hold on. Do we have pick 25? Am I looking at the wrong thing? No, we have pick 28. I don't know who. Did I just pass pick 25? I have no idea. Trade declined. Okay. Oh, the Texans have 2 picks, and they have pick 25 as well. Trade offer accepted. So we move up from 32 to 25. We could move up from 25 to something. Maybe this is where we move up from 25 to like 17 or something. Because that's a little bit easier. But oh my god, I hate this game so much. I'm going to cut now to when I, because this video is going to be pretty long anyway. So I'm going to cut to when I have a reasonable trade to start the draft. So when I have reasonable draft picks. So I'll see you guys then. All right, we're at the draft. I traded up to the number 1 overall pick, and I also traded up to get the number 5 overall pick. So we've got some things to work with here. Now, we could be smart and trade back and use these picks valuably, but we're not going to do that. We're going to draft either Zach Martin or Aaron Donald because we need both positions, and we certainly need a guard at all, and I think number 1 overall is going to be Aaron Donald, and then I might try to get up to number 2 to trade to draft Zach Martin because I think he's going to go number 2, but I don't know. We need a guard. We do need a guard, and we don't necessarily need Aaron Donald. But it's Aaron Donald. It's Aaron Donald. But there's probably going to be other scenarios where we get the real-life Aaron Donald instead of the drafted, created version of Aaron Donald. But there's also going to be scenarios where we could get Zach Martin, too. There's going to be scenarios where we get anybody. I shouldn't trade it up to get number 1 overall. Who do we get? Let's draft Blake Bortles. No, I'm just kidding. Let's draft yada yada yada. Let's draft Zach Martin. Let's get crazy. A guard at number 1 overall. I'm getting absolutely crazy. Zach Martin goes number 1. Who's going next? It's Aaron Donald to the Steelers. 3 is Greg Robinson to the Eagles. 4 is Khalil Mack, and now we are up again at number 5. Odell is still on the table. Jadeveon Clowney is still on the table. Mike Evans is still on the table. Remember, we are the Seahawks. The Seahawks value their defense, so we have to focus probably on the defense, although there are some very good offensive weapons, and we do need offensive weapons like Odell Beckham Jr. or like Mike Evans. I can't pass up on Odell Beckham Jr. We're taking Odell Beckham Jr. OBJ goes to the Seahawks at number 5 overall. Look at those speed ratings. We needed a big star in Seattle for Russell Wilson to throw to. There he is. Johnny Manziel goes 6 to the Dolphins. Garoppolo goes 7 to the Bucks. The Bengals take Blake Bortles. All the quarterbacks going off the board now. This is not a quarterback class. There goes Bridgewater. Mike Evans to the Cardinals. Taylor Lewan to the Colts. Corey Linsley. Jadeveon Clowney has fallen here. Kyle Fuller to the Commanders. Sammy Watkins, Lions. CJ Mosley, Chiefs. We still have pick 28, by the way. Jimmy Ward. Rudy Fuller. There's Jadeveon. He goes 18 to the Vikings. DeMarcus Lawrence goes to the Cowboys. Juwan James. Anthony Barr. Carlos Hyde. Jason Verrett. Eric Ebron. We're coming up here. Brandon Cooks. I didn't mean to resume the draft there. Kelvin Benjamin. What a bust he was. Malcolm Butler. And now we're up again. Now we could trade back because I traded a lot of our picks next year too to get up to that spot. But we could trade back, although I don't want to because we do need to find probably another offensive lineman. We could turn to Trey Turner and just make him a left guard, which is probably what I'm going to do. I know Devontae Adams is on the board. I see him. I know he didn't go to TCU. I didn't make this draft class. We're going to draft Trey Turner because we need another guard. So we drafted 2 guards and Odell Beckham Jr. in this class. That's crazy to think about. So next pick, we'll see what the first round is, and then we'll simulate to our next pick. So Joe Bitonio closes out, or doesn't close out the first round because the Texans have another pick. They have our pick. We traded them 32. And they take Jeremy Hill with that, so yay. Next user pick. All right, now what's on the board? What is on the board? We have 2 second-round picks. Clinton Dix, Matt Paradis, Marcus Smith. Who else is on this board? James White, legendary Patriot. Martavis Bryant. Not a whole lot of good on this board after a little bit, but we could take or we could take Kevin Pierre-Louis, maybe. It's probably either going to be or it is trade. And right now our free safety position doesn't need anything, so let's go with a trade. We're going to trade back to try to recoup some of the picks that I traded away this next season. So let's work on this. We need to focus on 2024 picks, and I think there was one team that was offering me 2 pretty decent 2024 picks. Yeah, the Raiders 2024 2nd and 5. I'll take that. That's not horrible. That gives me a little bit. And then we'll send to our next user pick. We'll trade this one away. And we will get... Ooh, a 3 and a 4 for 2024 could be good. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything that's super spicy. I mean, we can get another second. But do we value the second more than the... Do we want quality over quantity, or do we want quantity over quality? Because we could take the 3 and the 4 from 2024 from the Vikings, or we could just take the 2 from any of the teams that were offering the 2, Eagles or Colts. I mean, we did just get a second, so I think we're going to value the Vikings. We'll get the 3 and the 4, so that means we got an extra 2, 3, 4, and 5 for next season because I traded away all those picks. Troy Nicholas goes to the Vikings. Good for them. He sucks. All right, next pick is in the 4th round. I don't think there's going to be anybody here, but we might as well take a look. A little look-skis. Trey Mason, Pat O'Connell, Josh Landry, Bo Allen, Alfred Blue, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Moncrief. Yeah, we're getting to the point where there's nobody good down here. There's some names you may recognize, but there's nobody worth drafting. So we're not even going to waste the pick. We're going to trade it away, and then we're going to move on with our lives. We're going to get a 4th round pick. Yeah, it looks like that's about as all we can get. So we'll take it from the Falcons. Sure, give me a 4th round pick from the Falcons. All right, so I'll see you guys at draft recap. I know we have a 6th round pick. I'm just going to trade that too, but there's no reason you need to see that. So I will see you guys at draft recap to see what our 3 draft picks overalls end up being. Draft recap is here. Zach Martin is an 83 overall. Odell is an 83 overall. And Trey Turner is a 76. All right, that's good enough. That's good enough for us. The NFL, so the highest overall player in the class was Aaron Donald at 84. We had a chance to take him, but I chose positional need over best player available. And some may argue Zach Martin's better than Aaron Donald. I can hear the argument. I would say that Aaron Donald's better. He's a Hall of Famer. Both of them are Hall of Famers. Both of them are some of the greatest players of all time. Then we got 2 of the 3 highest overall players in the class, which is awesome. Khalil Mack was up there. Jimmy Garoppolo is 81. I don't know about that. But now we get to simulate to next season and see where this team falls in year 2 of the simulation. Remember, we're only going 5 years, so we get to see where this team will end up. And we take a look at the roster. The offensive line should look a little bit better now with those 2 rookies there. Yeah, it does. It looks a little bit better. We need a right tackle, but other than that, we look pretty good. And, they want Zach Martin to play left guard and Turner to play right guard. I don't like that. No. We're going to switch it. Can I switch it here? I don't think I can. But the offensive line looks okay with Odell added to it, or the offensive weapons, and then the defense. We need to work a little bit on the defense, but for now, we look pretty darn good. So I'm going to go switch the guard positions to make Martin play right guard and Trey Turner play left guard. So let's go do that right now. So Zach Martin will get switched. And then Trey Turner will get switched with Zach Martin. If I can do it. Did I not do it? There we go. Zach Martin's playing right guard, and then left guard will be Mr. Trey Turner. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Awesome. Now I will see you guys at the playoffs for season number 2. In year 2 of the franchise simulation, Zach Martin actually got an ability upgrade, so that's pretty cool. But we make the playoffs again for the 2nd year in a row. This time, not as the 1 seed, as a wild card team. And I realized last season I didn't show the stats for the end of the season, so I apologize for that. But we will take a look at the stats going forward. Russell Wilson with 4,300 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. Rushing, Marshawn Lynch had a fantastic year, 1,600 yards and 17 touchdowns. Michael also had 11 touchdowns. Doug Baldwin and Percy Harvin at 1,100 yards. How did my boy Odell do? Where's Odell at? Odell didn't play? What? Okay, that's not real life at all. That is just not real life. I don't understand it. Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright both had 129 tackles. That's freaking insane. Sack leaders, Michael Bennett 14, 11.5 for Chris Clemens. Good we bought him back. 6 interceptions for Sherm. 3 for Bobby Wagner. That's pretty good. Byron Maxwell had 3 as well. All right, so those are your stats for the 2nd season. I apologize again that I didn't show year 1 stats. That's on me. Just forgot. But now we have the Buccaneers in the 1st round of the playoffs in the wild card round. Are we going to win? Because last year we lost in our first playoff game. We do win against the Bucs 34-28, thankfully, and some big upgrade points for the boys. Hopefully we can move on against the Panthers. This is where we got knocked out last year. Let's not do it again. 2 years in a row. I don't want to lose in the divisional. We win 35-24. We're starting to put up some big-time points. We are starting to put up some big-time points. Now, remember, this is the year. This is 2014, technically. This is the year they win they go to the Super Bowl and lose to the Patriots. So, I wonder if the Patriots are in the playoffs this year. I should have checked. But this is the NFC title game against the Cowboys. We lost 34-28. Oh, we lose 34-28 to the Cowboys. We will not be in the Super Bowl. So it turns out that running the football on 4th down, if we went back in time and erased all of that history, the Seahawks would be worse off. They haven't won a Super Bowl yet. That's hilarious. It'll be Cowboys and Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year. Last year was Broncos and Packers. And we don't have a lot of money to spend. I'm hoping that we get some retirement so we can free up some money. Who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? Probably the Cowboys. It is the Cowboys, 31-28 over the Chiefs. We could have beat the Chiefs. I know we could have. We could have beat the Chiefs. But we move to off-season of year number 2 now. Season recap is as follows. Kurt Coleman, yikes, wins the MVP. Why is he a middle linebacker? I don't know. Cam Newton wins the MVP of the league, which is on brand. He won one in real life. Nathaniel Hackett, Coach of the Year, not on brand. Jordy Nelson and DeMarcus Ware are the Players of the Year. Blake Bortles, yikes, and CJ Mosley are your Rookies of the Year. Very interesting. But let's go to, not staff moves. I don't want to go to staff moves. I want to go to simulation so that we can get to the re-sign period. I don't know who's going to be available to re-sign. I did not pay attention. And I also didn't load in a draft class. I'm going to have to do that now. I forgot about that. But we've got player retirements. Who's retiring that is of note? Anybody on our team? Malcolm Smith, Everson Griffin, Kirk Cousins. After just being drafted a couple of seasons before, he retires. Matt Ryan and Julio Jones retire. Remember, this is some of these normal players, the current players, they have their experience and their ages of what they are in real life. So that's why they're retiring all these years earlier. But I need to look at player negotiations. We got 18 players that are ready to negotiate. Who is big on this list? Please not be anybody. Oh, Percy Harvin. Oh, okay. We got some big ones. Okay, we got some big ones and we don't have a lot of money. So we're going to have to make some decisions. Do we bring back KJ Wright? Probably. Do we bring back Percy Harvin? I don't think we can. I want to bring back KJ Wright. I think he's valuable. So I want to bring back KJ Wright, and he's going to be all of our money. Yeah, KJ Wright is gone. Or KJ Wright is here, but we don't have any more money to spend. So we got to trade some people because I don't want to just lose out on those guys. So we got to trade Michael Bennett and we got to trade Percy Harvin. At least those are the two that I remember. And Byron Maxwell maybe because we don't have... we couldn't sign him either. So Percy Harvin's got to go. He's got to get got. So we got to get a receiver back in return for him. But who is a cheap receiver that's pretty good, that's not going to break the bank? Trindon Holiday. Devon Bess. I do like Devon Bess. Who's this? Vincent Brown. Why are all the receivers making so much money? Is that Junior Hemingway? Hold on. Junior Hemingway. Oh, man. That's a name I haven't seen in a while. Dree Archer as a receiver. That's weird. Jason Avant. Josh Bellamy. Sidney Rice ends up on the Cowboys. So he did win a Super Bowl. Good for him. Brian Hartline's making a little bit too much money. John Brown. Some of these guys are making just a little bit too much moolah for me. There's Jarvis Landry. You know what? Let's get Jarvis Landry on the team. We could probably afford to get him, and we can go and get some draft picks next year. So let's go and get a first and a second round next year. They should want this. Trade offer accepted. Yeah. So we get Jarvis Landry. We get a first and a second, and for next year, and that is that done. We need to trade away Michael Bennett, even though Michael Bennett is pretty much a Seahawk his entire career. But we need to trade him away. That's Chris Cremens. That's not who we want to trade away. We want to trade away Michael Bennett. We need to go to the left end spot and bring somebody back in return. So who is not expensive that we can bring back? Tony Ely, but he's a little bit too expensive. We'd have to give somebody else back. Who else? Who was that? That was Corey Redding, and that's Devin Kennard. But Devin Kennard could work. He could be a guy we could think about. William Hayes, BJ Raji, all these guys are just a little bit too expensive for my taste. Greg Hardy, Rob Ninkovich. I'm not seeing anybody that is piquing the old interest. Brian Robinson? Who are you? But you're 87 overall, 500K. That's not that bad. And straight up it goes through. So whatever, I guess. Sure, that works. We have negative 400K, but because that's probably the penalty. That's probably the cause of trading Michael Bennett. Is taking on that penalty. So we're probably not going to be able to trade anybody else, but I will try to trade Byron Mack. Oh, we can trade Byron Mack. He's making $10.5 million. We'll be able to trade Byron Maxwell. Especially because we can get a couple of players probably back in return for this. So let's go with Who is a nice corner that's not expensive, that is a decent overall. Dunta Robinson. We could maybe get Kyle Fuller. That could be interesting. I'd be happy with Kyle Fuller. I'm sure he has a development trait. Yeah, he has star. So let's add Kyle Fuller to the list, and we could either save some money or we could probably get some more stuff back in return. You know what? Let's go for some draft picks next year. Give me a first and a second, just like we did with the other thing. Trading. Oh. I didn't think that was going to be. Oh, they don't like Byron Maxwell at all. Oh, they value Kyle Fuller like crazy. Okay, so that is scrapped. I didn't realize they value Kyle Fuller like that. Jeez. All right, tell me how you really feel. That was crazy. I thought we were going to be able to steal that, but they were ready for it, and we are not going to be able to swindle them that much or that easy. Chimney Chekwa. I love Chimney. One of my favorite Buckeye players in recent history. Bradley Roby, Ike Taylor. There's got to be a good corner here that's not super expensive, that doesn't get valued. We could get Pac-Man, I guess. Sean Smith, DRC, but he's old. Jonathan Banks, Logan Ryan. We could get Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan wouldn't be bad. Is he just, he's just normal. But he's an 81 overall. I'm sure he wouldn't be that hard to go after. And if we throw in the first and the second, we'll see what they have to say. They say yikes to that. But they accept the first, or they accept Logan Ryan in the second. So we trade Byron Maxwell. We get the second. I'm sure Byron Maxwell had a crazy penalty. That's why we have negative money. But is there anybody else that we need to trade? Brian Robinson, Rivera, Cliff Averill. Oh no, not Cliff Averill. I guess we could probably franchise tag him, although we can't because we don't even have enough money to offer him a contract, so we can't even franchise tag him. Okay, we're going to have to figure this out. He probably has a penalty to trade away too. We're not going to have any money in this offseason. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Where's Cliff Averill? There he is. 1.98 million. We can't even trade him away unless trading away other stuff. You know what? Let's just let it go. We've got enough stuff. We've got enough stuff to work with here. Let's go to free agency. We'll let him walk and let Jermaine Kearse walk as well. And we go into the offseason with no money to spend. Let me just take a look and see what the free agency is looking like. And don't let me forget, I'm going to do the draft class. Don't let me forget. It's a pretty decent draft class. But we don't have any money, so we can't do anybody. I'm going to go and upload a draft class for the 2015 season, or the 2015 draft class, I should say. And then I will see you guys at the draft. We make it to the draft period of season number 2. I loaded in the 2015 draft class as good as I could find one. There's not really that many good ones, or accurate ones, I should say. But there's some important players in there that are the notable names you will find. But we're going to start the draft. And this is just not a very good draft in the first place. It's just not that good. So if we go to the draft board, the Texans have the number 1 overall pick. We have a few picks. We have 2, I think. Jameis Winston, Leonard Williams, Marcus Mariota. Those are the key names that you would all expect. Running back wise, there's a few guys in here. Todd Gurley. Wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Kevin White, Tyler Lockett, Devontae Parker. Some big names. Obviously, everybody knows Joey Tatum. Darren Waller. That doesn't look like Darren Waller. Oh, that's Darren Waller. Wait, who's the real Darren Waller? Uh-oh, we've got a battle of the Wallers. Who's the real one? I'm guessing it's this one. I just got a hunch. That's funny. I didn't realize that there was going to be 2 Darren Wallers in this one, but that is funny. All right, so he's a day 3 guy. We might as well draft him. But we don't really have anybody on our target list that I'm interested in. I traded up all last year. We're not going to do that again. So we're just going to simulate to our pick. We have pick 29. We have our time to go. Grady Jarrett just got taken. And we have who on the board? Nobody. Landon Collins, Jaquiski Tarr, a lot of safeties, but I don't think we need a safety. Ooh, Shaq Thompson. And they forgot the H in his name, though. And Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley could be fun. We could use another running back besides Marshawn Lynch, especially if Marshawn Lynch is coming up for a contract pretty soon. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to draft Mr. Todd Gurley in the first round. You never do it, but Todd Gurley is a Seattle Seahawk. All right, you love to see it. Now we have pick 15 in the second round. Are we going to have the ability to draft Shaq Thompson? Because I'll take Shaq Thompson. I will take him if he's there. Ronald Darby's here. Trey Waynes. It doesn't look like Shaq is here. Ah, that's stupid. I really wanted to take him. But Benardic McKinney is here. There's a couple interesting players down here, down the board. But I think we're going to take probably one of the corners. Probably one of the corners. Or maybe Demarius Randall. But our free safety spot, our safety spot in general is pretty good. So maybe one of the corners, which we could always use. And I think we're going to take Ronald Darby with this pick in the second round. Ronald Darby, 5'9", also has hidden development, probably just star, but it is what it is. He shows up in Seattle. And with our third round pick, we are probably going to take, there goes Eric Kendricks, who could have been cool. I don't want to go to the lineup. I don't want to go to the lineup. I want to go to the draft class. We will make our selection. We have a few players that are here. Nobody that is of interest except for, I know one guy, although Ali Marpet is here at right guard. He's not the right skin color. I'm going to take Ali Marpet and we'll change him, make him look a little bit more like Ali Marpet. So Ali Marpet is here, and then we will go in the fourth round and draft the other Darren Waller. We will draft the other Darren Waller. The athletic Darren Waller. We'll take him. Because we do need a tight end at some point. So let's go make our selection. And then this will probably be the last pick that we do. And then the rest we will just trade away, I would assume. So let's go to tight end. Let's draft Darren Waller. And let's get out of here. So Darren Waller, he's only normal development. Out of all the people that would have had hidden development, I would have assumed it would have been Darren Waller. But whatever, it doesn't matter. So let's, you know what? Let's not trade away the picks. Let's just advance to the end of the draft. Let the CPU handle the rest of the picks. I don't care. We need depth anyway, so we might as well let them draft people instead of trying to simulate away. Plus, we have some picks for next year anyway. And let's see who our guys are, and well, we know who our guys are. Let's see how good they are, I should say. So we have Todd Gurley, 81. We have 78 Darren Waller, 74 Darby, and Marpet. And you know what? We didn't get anybody else that's good, but that's okay. I'm going to change Ali Marpet before I forget. You know what? It might be funny just to keep him like he is now, but I'm going to change what he looks like just because, for continuity reasons. So appearance, we'll change his skin tone to very white. Actually, he's probably not that white. And then we'll go with what looks like Ali Marpet. This guy looks like Ali Marpet. Sure. I don't know. Let's go see who some of the best players in the class was. Stephon Diggs ends up being an 84. I forgot Stephon Diggs is in this class. Actually, he's not in this class, isn't he? He's in 2014, isn't he? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Marcus Peters, Melvin Gordon, Zadarius Smith. There's Todd Gurley. Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. We are entering year number 3 of the simulation. We've got this year, next year, and then the final season to see how much this will change. We have a mentor rookie scenario. Okay, that's very interesting. I'm intrigued. Tickle me stupid. I'm intrigued. We've got Todd Gurley learning from Marshawn Lynch. We'll give him some long-term impact or some long-term development, not immediate impact. We'll see how that changes things. I don't know. Maybe that was the wrong thing to do. I don't know. We're going to simulate to the end of the season. I will see you guys there. Hopefully we're in the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. But with the team the way that it looks now, I don't know if we'll get there. I mean, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We've got a good team. Odell has superstar development. We've got good wide receivers. We're going to make Darren Waller the starting tight end. Oh, no. Zach Miller's going to be... I didn't realize he was 87 overall. So he's going to be the starting tight end. We should probably move one of these two to tackle, but it doesn't matter. And then on the defensive side of things, we've got a good team. It's not great, but it's a good team. 99 overall for Richard Sherman. That's pretty awesome. And we will go to the end of the season. I'll see you guys there. Here we are at the playoffs for year 3. We made the playoffs 14-3, won the division for the 3rd straight year. We're looking pretty good. Now, can we go farther than we did last season where we made it to the NFC title game? I don't know. We got to take a look at the stats, see how everything happened. Russell Wilson had a okay year, 4,400 yards, 41 touchdowns, 10 picks. That's a very good year, actually. That's a pretty good year. Rushing, Marshawn Lynch had another really good year, 1,400 yards, 20 touchdowns. Todd Gurley got involved a little bit. Receiving, Odell finally plays and gets over 1,000 yards. Doug Baldwin also got over 1,000 yards, 1,200 to be exact, and 14 touchdowns for him. Defensively, 138 tackles from Bobby Wagner's crazy. 96 tackles from Cam Chancellor. 14.5 sacks from Jordan Hill, 12.5 for Brandon Meebanes, 12 for Chris Clemens. Absolutely insane numbers. Ronald Darby had 2 interceptions. Sherman had 2 interceptions. Those are your big numbers for this 3rd season. Now we got to find out who is going to win this game. Seahawks and Bears. All right, let's go. We were the 2 seed. Let's see if we can make it to the Super Bowl this year. We need to. This is year 3. We beat the Bears. That's big. It's a big win for the Bears. I did load in the 2016 draft class just so that I didn't forget. I did load it in. Now we're playing still in Seattle against the Vikings in the divisional. We beat the Vikings. We are on to the NFC Championship for the 2nd straight year. This time against the 49ers, so we're not playing the Cowboys, which is good because they beat us last year. Are we going to be in the Super Bowl, or will it be another year of disappointment? We are in 41-18. Wow, we blew them out. We blew out the 49ers 41-18, and this is a pretty competent 49ers team. We're playing the Tennessee Titans, who at the very start of this simulation had Ryan Fitzpatrick as their quarterback. I can't imagine they still have him. I guess we could quickly take a look and see who they have. Who is on this Titans team? They have Chris Johnson, who's developed very well. Jarrell Casey, Alteron Verner. They still look like the same team. They drafted Tyrann Mathieu. Who's their quarterback? It's Jake Locker, who is a superstar development 85 overall quarterback. He has developed amazingly. Good for him. And it is time to play the Super Bowl. We will go in, we will simulate, and if we need to jump in at the very end to help us win, we'll do it. But I'll see you guys in our first ever Super Bowl appearance of this little what-if scenario. All right, here we go. It's simulation time. The Titans are up 10-0 quickly on the Seahawks. Come on, boys. 10-7. There it is, 14-7. Come on. 13-14. 21-13. 21-20. 28-20. Come on, boys. We need a win. 28-28. They tied it up. The Titans are very good. They put up another field goal. 2 minutes to go. We are on defense. I don't want to be on defense. I'd rather be, I'd rather jump forward to the next change of possession here. And it's going to end with I should have jumped in. The Titans win the Super Bowl over the Seahawks. They just held it for 2 minutes. And congratulations to the Tennessee Titans. We fail in the Super Bowl. So in 3 seasons, we've made the playoffs 3 straight years. We lost in the divisional the first round, or the first year. We lost in the NFC title game the second year, and now in the 3rd year we lost in the Super Bowl. So if the pattern continues, we're gonna win the Super Bowl next year. That's what I would expect from the pattern. But hey, we made it there. We're showing progress. We've got some good young guys on the team, like Odell Beckham Jr., Zach Martin. We've got some good players, and we got a little bit of money. Got a little bit of money. I don't know whose contract is up, but we got to pay some players, I would assume. The season recap is Chris Johnson was the MVP. Blake Bortles for the Bengals is your MVP of the league. Mike McCarthy, Coach of the Year. DeMarco Murray and Jared Allen are the Players of the Year. And Jameis Winston and Marcus Peters are your Rookies of the Year. Let's move to the off season of year 3. So we can get into year number 4 and get cooking here. Now, this is the year. I thought that it was last year, but I was wrong. It's this year where we have the multiple first-round picks, I'm pretty sure. So, retirements. Is there anybody big that retires? J.J. Watt, Sidney Rice retires. We lose Bobby Wagner, which is not good because Bobby Wagner is very, very good, and he had like 100-plus tackles this past season, so that sucks. Now we're going to have to think about middle linebacker spots, but Players that are ready to negotiate. Marshawn Lynch. I mean, we had to bring back Marshawn. We had to bring back Earl Thomas. And we had to bring back Russell Wilson. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, so we got to bring back Russell Wilson. That's just a guarantee. And we don't have enough money to offer Russell Wilson a deal. Okay, I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. I thought we were going to have enough money to at least offer him a contract. We had to bring back Russell Wilson. That's just a guarantee. So who's making the most money? Richard Sherman, Chris Clemens. Who's making the most money that doesn't have a big penalty? Player release net savings. We could release Golden Tate. We could release Golden Tate, but the penalty would be $11.5 million. That's not worth it. So if we try to find players that have big contracts that aren't going to be any sort of penalty that would matter to us, we have to start getting into the bigger contracts. And I don't think there's anybody here. Mike Morgan, we could trade away. So we got to remember Mike Morgan. We could trade away Joe Ryan because he's just making way too much money for a punter. We might just end up releasing Joe Ryan. Let's see. Hauschka's making a lot of money. I mean, then there's Marshawn. Marshawn wouldn't take too much. Oh, am I really going to have to trade Marshawn Lynch? Is that really what's going to happen? Oh, no. I didn't think about this. I didn't think we were going to be this screwed in money. But we are. First off, let's trade away Joe Ryan. If I can. I don't know if anybody's going to want a punter. Just give me back a punter in return. I'll take anybody that's decent. I'll take Spencer Lanning. I don't care. You can have Joe Ryan. There it is. So we save a little bit of money there. He didn't cost too much to get rid of. Marshawn Lynch is going to have to go, which sucks because he's Marshawn freaking Lynch. But we are going to get a running back in return. It doesn't have to be anybody great because we do have Todd Gurley, who I'd like to see develop. So it doesn't have to be anybody that special. Just a decent backup for Todd Gurley. And that decent backup might end up being... who? Devonta Freeman, maybe? That could be interesting. I wouldn't hate a Devonta Freeman backup role. Amir Abdullah. I mean, we could go back and get Christine Michael, I guess. Let's see. Who do we want as our backup running back? How much is Alfred Morris? 1.38. But he's a 92 overall. He'd probably start. Let's get Ahmad Bradshaw. A little bit too expensive. I don't hate the Devonta Freeman thing. I don't hate it as a backup. We do probably need to get some more depth for this, or some more value for this, so we'll go for the first and the second round picks. And the trade offer is accepted, so we do take the penalty, but we had to get Marshawn Lynch out of there, and we had to get something back for him. So he's back, and we should now have enough money to sign Russell Wilson, at least maybe not sign him, but offer him a franchise tag. That should be something that we have available now. And we might need to trade away Russell Okung as well. I don't know who we trade him for, because I'm not really seeing anybody that is piquing the interest, except for maybe Taylor Lewan. That offer is accepted. We have $41.4 million. That should be enough to offer at least a contract to Russell Wilson. Oh, God, this sucks. We're going to lose so many players. We don't even have enough money to offer him a freaking contract. Actually, we do. If we go for team-friendly, a one-year deal, we can offer him a contract. He's going to deny it, and we can franchise tag him. So we can franchise tag Russell Wilson. We're going to lose Earl Thomas. I'll probably just trade Earl Thomas. We got to franchise tag Russell Wilson, though. So there it is. Russell Wilson's been franchise tagged. He will be the quarterback for the next season. But we got to trade away Earl Thomas now, which is not going to help us in our pursuit to be in the Super Bowl again. Earl Thomas out the door. We're going to have to get a free safety back in return. and preferably a free safety who doesn't cost anything. And that is going to be Jordan Poyer. Jordan Poyer doesn't cost anything really that much, and he is a decent player, and maybe we can get back a first and a second as well. Give me all that stuff back. Thank you very much. All right, so that is a big penalty. We ate the penalty there, but we get back a solid player in return. And now we go to the next stage of free agency, or the first stage of free agency, I should say, headed into year number 4. I don't think we don't have any money to sign anybody, but we do have more picks for next year. I should probably have checked what our picks look like. If we go to the trade center, we have no money. What do our draft picks look like? We have 24 and 31. We have 3 second rounders. We have 3 first rounders next year, which is cool, and 3 seconds. So we've got some pick equity for the final 2 seasons of this simulation. We just got to get to the Super Bowl again. That's all that really matters. And we got to have enough money to bring back Russell Wilson. This free agency class is not as good as last year, so that's good. We'll simulate to the draft. I'll see you guys at the draft, and hopefully we make some big moves, make some big trades, and maybe draft some good players. We make it to the draft, and if you're not familiar with, this is the 2016 draft. These are some of the notable players in the 2016 draft: Leonard Floyd, Jared Goff, Joey Bosa, Kenny Clark, Carson Wentz, Jalen Ramsey. It's the guys that you would expect. It is the guys that you would expect. It's a good class. It's a very good class. Better than 2015, that's for sure. But we are going to have to make a move if we want to, and I don't know if we have enough money to make a move. So we're just going to have to sit back and relax and see who goes. First pick is Joey Bosa to the Rams. Did not go to Florida State, but that's not the point. Leonard Floyd, Kenny Clark, Tyreek Hill goes to the Colts. Emmanuel Ogbah, Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins. Look at that. Predicting the future. Malachi Ware, Michael Thomas to the Raiders. You know what? I need to just skip to my pick because it's gonna make me sad if I miss out on all these players. I don't want to see me missing out on these guys. So here we are with Tyler Boyd on the board, which is hard to say. Let's see. We need linebacker. We need linebacker badly because our main man, what's his face, Bobby Wagner, retired. So Deion Jones is here, who could be very good, but he doesn't look good in the game. Outside linebacker Devondre Campbell, Joe Schobert. Maybe we should have traded up. Dean Lowry, Matt Judon. That does not look like Matt Judon, but Matt Judon is here, and Matt Judon is my pick. I will change him to make him look more like Matt Judon, but that is going to be my pick in the first round. Skip to our next user pick, and we need to take more defense. So we need to go to, we could take Keanu Neal. Corners, there's not really anybody that's amazing. Right outside linebacker, no. Middle linebacker, Deion Jones. Let's take middle linebacker, Deion Jones. He is 85 speed, not bad. They're not going to be very high overall players, I wouldn't assume. Next user pick is pick 10 in the second round. There goes Zeke. That's pretty fun. We need more defense, though, so we need to focus on... We need a left end. We need to get a left end. Is there anybody that's here? Actually, we did draft a left end. We drafted Matt Judon, but he's not going to be a left end. Who's that? Chris Jones is still available? There's no way that Chris Jones could still be available and have these great moves. We just got Chris Jones in the second round. I will take that. I don't know how he slipped to us, but he was there, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm not complaining at all about having to take Chris Jones. Is there anybody else that we could steal from the D-tackle spot? It doesn't look like it. Right end, left end, Carl Nassib. I was going to take Carl Nassib, wasn't I? Left outside linebacker, Devondre Campbell. Let's just take Devondre Campbell. So that'll be fine enough. And then I think I'll just let the CPU draft the rest of the players because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So let's go to the end of the draft, and I will change what Matt Judon looks like so that he looks more accurate to represent what he actually looks like in real life. But out of what it could have been, I feel like that was a pretty good draft class in terms of what we brought in. We got 82 overall Chris Jones in the second round. I can't believe that. We got Dakota Prescott. Dak is here. Dak is an 80 overall. They drafted him in the second round. Awesome. I'll take that. That could be our replacement for Russell Wilson for the final season. Then we've got Matt Judon. We've got Devondre Campbell. I will also change Devondre Campbell. There's Deion Jones. He's a 63. Let's just do that right now so I don't forget. So Matt Judon will be changed to look more accurate and more athletic. Select skin tone. And then we got to give him something with long hair because he had long hair. So let's go with that one. Save changes. And then we will also change Devondre Campbell because that doesn't look like Devondre Campbell. So certainly doesn't look like Devondre Campbell. So we will go to his appearance. We will go to his skin color. We will go to that one. And we will go to pick, I don't know, this one. Make him look like a meatball. Sure. Whatever. Doesn't matter. All right. So now let's go to the NFL, see who some of the best players were. Joey Bosa, obviously one of the best players. Tyreek Hill's an 89. Oh, wow. Okay, because he's got all the speed right away. He's got all the speed right now. We know in real life it took him a couple years to develop, but he's got all the speed right away. Kenny Clarkson, 86. Jalen Ramsey, 85. This is a very highly rated draft class. And I can't believe we got Chris Jones in the second round. What are people doing? Tyreek Hill is an 89 overall. He is already one of the best receivers in the league. That is insane. But now we go into year number 4. We've only got 2 seasons left, including this one. Can we win a Super Bowl? We have already dramatically changed the history of the NFL going back in time in this what-if scenario. And it's not good for any Seattle Seahawks fans because right now we don't have any Super Bowl wins. We only have 1 Super Bowl appearance, and we've traded away a lot of your fan favorite players. So, yeah. I'll see you guys at the end of year 4, and hopefully it's 4 straight playoff appearances. We've made it to the playoffs of year 4, and we finally missed out. We went 9-8 and missed out on the playoffs for the first time in the simulation. And that was to be expected. With all the moves we've had to make, that is to be expected. So we're going to have to go into this. I'll check the stats in a second after we get done simulating. We're going to have to make a decision on Russell Wilson. Probably having to trade him if I think about it. Because the CPU drafted us Dak Prescott. So we can ride Dak Prescott for the final season. But it's the Ravens and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Let's take a look at what the stats were looking like. Russell Wilson had another good year, 4,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, a little bit too many interceptions. Todd Gurley in his first year as a starter, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Devontae Freeman got most of the touchdowns, 16. Baldwin had 1,000 yards. Tate had 1,000 yards. Darren Waller had 1,000 yards. Odell not so much. Big touchdowns from the both of them. Defensively, 125 tackles from KJ Wright. Mike Morgan at 101. I forgot to trade him, but it looks like it paid off. 9.5 sacks from our rookie Chris Jones. 8 for Chris Clemens. 6 interceptions from Sherm. Yeah, we're going to have to make some subtractions in the offseason this year. But it was a good year. It wasn't that bad. I mean, we did miss the playoffs after being in the Super Bowl the year prior. I guess you'd call it a Super Bowl hangover. It probably was a Super Bowl hangover, and I didn't load in draft class. I forgot about that. I had the opportunity to. I just forgot. It'll be the final draft class because we're not going into the next one. So season recap, the Ravens won the Super Bowl. It is Mariota winning the MVP as the quarterback of the Ravens. Garoppolo is the MVP of the league for the Bucks. Zach Taylor, head coach of the year. Darren McFadden and Cameron Wake are the players of the year. Max Beckham, Odell's brother, and Kenny Clark are the rookies of the year. So we go into the final offseason. We head into the final offseason. And we've got to make a big decision on Russell Wilson. We've got to make a big decision on good old Russ. Do we ride with Russell Wilson for the final year? Or do we trade him away? A lot of retirements. Or do we trade him away and ride with Dakota Prescott for the one final season? Players ready to negotiate. We have $135 million in cap space. But we have Cam Chancellor, Golden Tate. There's Russ. Doug Baldwin. We've got some big names that need to be re-signed. But is Russell Wilson the guy that we go with? What is Dak Prescott's rating after one season as a backup? What is he looking like? He is a 78 with normal development. I don't think we can go with Dak for the final season. If we're trying to go hard for a Super Bowl, I don't think we can go with Dak. So we're going to ride with Russell Wilson. We have the money now in the cap. So we are going to ride with Russell Wilson for the final season. It just feels right. It just feels right. So we're going to negotiate a contract with him. We're going to player friendly it. We're going to offer him 29.5 just because he's Russell Wilson and we need to make him happy. He's excited to come back. Awesome. We're going to offer Cam Chancellor a similar contract. Bada bing, bada boom. He's coming back as well. Golden Tate, we're going to offer a big contract to. He is coming back. Doug Baldwin, we're going to offer a contract to. Offer him a player friendly. He is coming back, so we're getting everybody back. See what happens when we have money? We actually can bring guys back. Player friendly Max Unger, he's coming back. Steven Hauschka, just because we need a kicker. Player friendly, he's coming back. And we still have $27 million. We're going to offer Jordan Poyer because we need a free safety. He's coming back. We're getting everybody back for the final season. One more go-around, boys. One more time around the board. And we still have a little bit of money, $17 million. Yeah, $17 million to spend in free agency to go balls to the walls for one final run to the Super Bowl. Sign free agents. Who's available? Show me the money. Chris Johnson, the man that beat us in the Super Bowl and won Super Bowl MVP, is here. But he's got how many teams interested in him? 6 teams. We need to focus on what we need. We have Todd Gurley. We have Devonta Freeman. We don't need a running back. And I don't want to waste the $17 million that we have on a running back. Wide receiver, we could do with an extra one. And maybe it's Santana Moss on a relatively cheap contract because he's got nobody interested in him. So on a 3-year deal for that amount of money is fine by me. Tight end, I think we stick with Waller. He's fine. Offensive line, I think, is good enough, except for right tackle. We need to go for a right tackle, and there is not a right tackle that is good enough. We could go with Breno Giacomini, but he's not super interested, so we might have to overpay for him, which is not necessarily good. We are in the running for him, though. And then the rest of the defense is going to have to be something very interesting because I don't think we have enough money to pay for anybody that good. We could go with Terrell Suggs. It's either going to be Terrell Suggs on a very cheap contract or Marcel Darius on a very cheap contract because that's all that we can afford with $4 million. And neither of them are probably going to accept. I will go on a very cheap contract for Marcel Darius, although we don't really need him because we have Chris Jones. We probably need Terrell Suggs a little bit more than Marcel Darius. So we will go lower this money to the wall. He will get no bonus. $2.5 million, $1.5 million, and he will hopefully accept that. But we will go to my signings and we will see who we brought in. We brought in Giacomini and Santana Moss. That's to be expected. I didn't think that they were going to get the other guys. Who did we offer? I don't remember. I know I just did it, but where is? Oh, he must not have signed. Yeah, Terrell Suggs didn't sign yet, but he's gonna sign with the Chiefs, so we will just go away with that. Is there anybody else that wants to come to our squad? No, it's just those guys. We have about $5 million. Since this is the last season, we might as well. We got to spend it. This is the final season, so we got to spend it somewhere. Who wants the money? Who wants the money? Joplo Barto? I don't even know who that is, really. Ray Maluga. Outside linebacker John Abraham, I mean. He's a 78 overall. Barry Cofield. Atiba Rubin? We could get Atiba Rubin. Does he have anybody interested? He's got one team interested in him. So we're going to have to probably overpay a little bit, but that's still a decent contract for him. What's he say to that? Targeted. We are not going to get him. So we will just, that'll be the end of our free agency run. We got, what, a new right tackle, and we got, did we get a wide receiver? I think is what we got. Oh, I got to cancel out of this. I didn't mean to do that. I need to go and add I need to add the final draft class. And I guess it doesn't matter because it's the final season and these players aren't going to matter at all. But we have a lot of picks, so maybe it does matter. Fifth-year options. Who's the fifth-year option? Zach Martin. Yeah, I wanna pick up his fifth-year option just so I don't want to pay him next season, and we're not going to have to pay him because it's the end of the simulation. But I definitely don't want to pay him, and I think this is probably going to be for, yes, Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, we can pay Odell next season, or in a couple seasons. We're going to pick up his option. All right, so we need to go to the players. I have a bunch of things drafted. I don't even know if this is going to be a good draft class or not. I have it here. What year is this? This is 2017. So we're going to find out if it's good enough. It's got Patrick Mahomes. It's a good one. It seems to be fine. It's not amazingly accurate, but it's okay. It looks like a lot of good players here. And there's Myles Garrett, obviously. If we could draft Myles Garrett, that'd be freaking amazing. But yeah, let's simulate to the draft and see how this team gets on for the final season of simulation. You know what? Out of 4 years, only missing the playoffs 1 year is not bad. It is not bad. And we've made it to the Super Bowl. At least we made it to a Super Bowl. We were close, too. We almost beat the Titans. If they didn't have stupid Chris Johnson. So they don't have him anymore. He signed somewhere else, I think. All right, so let's start the NFL draft. Start drafting. Pause it. We have pick 6, but I want pick 1 because I want Myles Garrett. I don't care. I want Myles Garrett. We're going to trade literally everything to get up to number 1. So let's go to manage roster, trade center. Let's trade for Mr. Myles Garrett. We'll trade pick 6 up to pick 1 from Miami. And we will draft Myles Garrett. That is almost done. I will give them a 5th round pick to push it across. That is almost there. I will also give them a 3rd round pick next year. I know I'm being stingy, but doesn't matter. Trade offer accepted. We have pick 1 in the draft. We're taking Myles Garrett, and we are going to be happy with that. So, pick player. It is Myles Garrett, number 1 overall. Welcome to the team. He's probably going to be, I hope he's up with like Tyreek Hill, like an 89 overall or something. The Rams have the 2nd pick. They take Mitchell Trubisky. Good luck there. Trey Hendrickson, Deshaun Watson. I'm sure there's a lot of good massage parlors in New York. Leonard Fournette. You know what? We're just going to skip to my next pick. Next user pick. Let's see who's on the board. Who can help this team out? TJ Watt. Well, look at that. TJ Watt's on the board, and TJ Watt is in Seattle. Welcome to the squad. TJ Watt. That was very, very handy right there. And now we have pick 25 in the 1st round. So who is going to be available? Chidobe Awuzie could be interesting. But Jamal Adams is here. How could I pass up? And Christian McCaffrey. Oh, there's a couple good. And Dalvin Cook and Jabril Peppers. This is a good draft. Excuse me. This is a good draft class. And Hassan Reddick is also here. Ooh. Oh, we probably need Hassan Reddick more than we need Jamal Adams or Christian McCaffrey, so I'm going to take Hassan Reddick. But if either one of those guys are there at the next pick, I'm probably going to take them. And it's not too far away, so they might be. Our next pick, pick 6 in the 2nd round. Dalvin Cook is here, but both McCaffrey's gone and the other guy's gone as well. Jamal Adams. Kareem Hunt. If we needed a kicker, we draft Kareem Hunt, but we don't need a kicker. Who else is down the board? I don't want to take anybody down this board or down this far. Let's take, there's Joe Mixon. I didn't even see him. Do we need a running back? Dalvin Cook or Joe Mixon? Who's the better of the two? Probably Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's probably the better of the two. So we take Dalvin Cook. I don't know what our next pick is, pick 18. All right. This will probably be my final pick, and then we'll just simulate the rest and let the team decide what we need. Let's take Marcus May. Marcus May looks like a good player. He's only normal development, but he could have a high overall. So Marcus May is on the squad. We will simulate the rest of the picks. End of the draft, let the CPU decide. We ended up getting TJ Watt out of all of this, which is pretty awesome. We needed linebacker depth, and TJ Watt probably comes in and starts right away for the final season. And we got Myles Garrett. So I'd say we drafted a pretty good class. Let's see who everybody is. Myles Garrett's only a 79 overall. Dalvin Cook is a 76. TJ Watt's a 75. Marcus May's a 73. They also drafted us Gerald Everett. That's cool, but nobody else of note. Hassan Reddick's a 71. So everybody that I drafted was a 70. So that's pretty good. At least a 70. We go to the rest of the league. Mahomes is an 82. He was the best player available. He also went to Yale, so good on you, Patty. But that's about it. It was kind of a mid overall draft class. The names obviously are notable. And we go to the final season. The final season of the simulation, year 5. All right. Year 5 of the simulation. This is what the final year looks like. The final team. Russell Wilson at quarterback, Todd Gurley, Devonta Freeman, and Dalvin Cook. Receivers, Doug Baldwin, Jarvis Landry, Golden Tate, and Odell Beckham Jr. I probably should have Odell be number 2 and not Doug Baldwin, but he's a good player. And then the offensive line, Taylor Lewan, Zach Martin, Max Unger, Trey Turner, and Giacomini. I never knew how to pronounce his name. Tight end is Darren Waller. Defense, we've got, TJ Watt starting it. And Hassan Reddick and KJ Wright. Jordan Poyer and Cam Chancellor. Corners are not great, but Matt Judon, Myles Garrett's starting over Matt Judon, sorry. Myles Garrett's, actually, we could start Myles Garrett at D tackle. That could be interesting. Or maybe we change our scheme. Maybe we go 3-4. We probably need to do a scheme fit situation here. West Coast spread offense. And we've got a couple base 4-3, a 3-4 under. Let's go 3-4 under for this final defensive simulation so that we don't have our weaknesses showing at at defensive tackle or defensive line. But our weaknesses do show with Deion Jones at middle linebacker too, but that's okay. That's something we got to bite the bullet on. So this is what the final team looks like. Is it good enough to win a Super Bowl? Probably not, but it's a good team. It's nothing bad. I will see you guys at the final playoff push, and we'll see if we've got one more run in us. We are here at the final postseason, and ladies and gentlemen, we made it. We are the 1 seed at 12-5. This year must have been bad in the NFC if 12-5 is good enough to get you the 1 seed, but it did. So we have one final opportunity to win a championship in this 5-year simulation. What if the Seahawks ran the football? Maybe I'll title it differently. Maybe what if the Seahawks never made the playoffs or something like that. So stats and awards. How did this final season go down? So Russell Wilson, 4,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 picks. Kind of a letdown, actually, in terms of his touchdown production. Todd Gurley, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Devonta Freeman, again, with a lot of touchdowns. Odell finally taken over as the top guy in terms of yards. 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. Darren Waller almost got to 1,000 with 7 touchdowns as well. 111 tackles for Richard Sherman. Marcus May at 106 as a rookie. That's pretty awesome. Sack leader Chris Clemens at 9.5. I'm glad we re-signed him. He's been big. Myles Garrett had 9 as a rookie. What a stud. I'm glad we drafted him number 1 overall. Sherman, 4 interceptions. Chancellor, 4 interceptions. 3 for Marcus May. All in all, very, very solid on defense. Not so much on the offense, but it's okay because we've got a divisional round against the Cowboys. We've got history with the Cowboys in this series. Come on, or in this simulation. And we lose to Dallas in the final season. Whatever, man. Whatever. We only made 1 Super Bowl in the entirety of this 5-year simulation. That was a couple of seasons ago. Or no, that was a couple of seasons ago. We missed out in the playoffs last year. And we end with a Steeler-Viking Super Bowl. I will simulate passages to see who wins it. And we'll see the final season recap and stuff. And then we'll take a look at this team one final time. I kept it pretty much intact. I mean, we still have Russell Wilson. We still have Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor. But Bobby Wagner retired. I couldn't do anything with that. We couldn't pay Earl Thomas, so we had to get rid of him. But here's the season recap. Jared Allen wins the MVP of the Super Bowl. Good for him. Jameis Winston's the MVP of the league with the Texans. Jeff Powell is the coach of the year for the Jets. Eric Decker and Charles Johnson are the players of the year. And Greg McBride. And we won Defensive Rookie of the Year with Myles Garrett. So that's pretty awesome. I'll take that. That's the first award we've won, I think, of this entire simulation. But let's take a look one final time at the team and see what went wrong. I don't know. maybe we could have done with a better offensive line. We kept Max Unger the entire time. Zach Martin was a good pickup. Darren Waller goes up to star development. Odell drops to star. That's not great. But the offense doesn't look bad. And then on defense, Hassan Reddick dropped to normal because he had hidden when we drafted him. But he looks like he dropped to normal. TJ Watt had star, I guess. Myles Garrett either had star and then went up to superstar or always had superstar because he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, so that usually means he's going to go up a development trait. So did he go up one? Or did he just... He always had X Factor. All right, we drafted X Factor of Myles Garrett. That's awesome. But did TJ Watt go up? Let me take a look. Did TJ Watt go up at all? No, he had superstar. All right. TJ Watt had superstar, Myles Garrett had X Factor. So, thinking back on what I would do differently, I would manage the money a little bit better. I probably wouldn't sign Chris Clemens to a new contract because that really kind of pinned us in a bad hole where we couldn't get other guys that maybe we needed. But Jordan Poyer ended up being an 85 overall, so he's not horrible. We do need to work on corner. I would probably focus a little bit more on corner because at the beginning we had pretty solid corners, but then we kind of, as the season went on, we kind of lost a lot of our decent corners. So I would probably focus on corner more. But ending up with Chris Clemens, Chris Jones, and Myles Garrett on the defensive line with backup Matt Judon is not bad, and Timmy Jernigan's also here. So, I mean, I don't hate the depth there. The linebacking core I'd probably work a little bit harder on. Having to trade Marshawn Lynch sucks, but getting Todd Gurley is good because he's an 87 overall. Wide receiver I'd probably focus a little bit more on. We probably could have used a little bit better of a wide receiver room. I mean, Doug Baldwin's fine. Jarvis Landry's fine, but getting Odell and Golden Tate's pretty good. The offensive line I could have focused a little bit more on in terms of this side. The left side's good with Zach Martin and Taylor Lewan. That's fine, but Max Unger, Trey Turner, and Giacomani. I don't know how to pronounce the name. I apologize. You suck. Doesn't matter. I probably could have focused a little bit more on them. So if I were to do a similar simulation with this team again, I'd probably do something different like that. And then the tight end spot, I mean, Darren Waller just took a little bit too long to develop. He would have been good, but he just took a little bit too long to develop because he had normal development from the start. So that's going to do it for this simulation. I know it's probably a super long video. I'm going to try to cut it down as much as possible, but it'll probably still be over an hour. I hope you guys enjoyed it, though. As always, if you want to leave a comment for possible episodes you want to see from What If, give me some different scenarios. Give me some What If scenarios that you may want to see me do in Madden and see how they would turn out differently. Obviously, this didn't go well for Seahawks fans. I apologize. We kind of ruined your last decade where we went back and we, instead of going to 2 Super Bowls in the past decade and winning one of them, you only made it to 1 Super Bowl and you lost it. So I apologize, Seahawks fans, for that. But hey, that's Madden simulation for you. What are you going to do? So I hope you guys did enjoy this. If you did, leave it a like. I know it's a little bit something different, but I wanted to kind of juice up the channel a little bit, kind of spice things up and throw some fun things at you. So if you enjoyed this, leave it a like. Let me know down in the comments if you have any other What If ideas. I'd be totally happy to hear about them, and they could go on the episode list for a possible season 2 of What If. Who knows? I've kind of got some other ones that I'm working on right now for season 1, but season 2 of What If, I don't know. We'll see. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.